everybody, and welcome to episode 19 of the Mingled Yarncast. Not 18. I was corrected by Craig, who in the comments in the last video made me realize that I had labeled the last episode as 17, but the episode before that was also 17. So there is no episode 18, there's two episode 17s, and now we're on episode 19. So that is Mingled Yarncast math for you. I'm Steven, your host, and you can also find me on Ravelry and Instagram as KnitFan, and I hope you do. This is going to be probably maybe a half-hour episode. I've got a few things to share with you as we lean into not spooky season, not pumpkin spice season, but MKAL season, and also Rhinebeck season. We're getting into October here in just a few more days. A few more days. It's September 22nd right now, so it's a little over a week. So I'm going to talk about this year's MKAL as well as last year's MKAL, the Westknits MKAL, I should say, to clarify. I am participating this year, and I have some things to show you. And I finally finished last year's, or at least I'm very, very close to finished. I have some ends to weave in. I almost said some weaves to end in. Some weaves to end in. I guess that works too. Anyway, I will show you all of this in just a moment. But in other news, before we get to the nitty gritty, it was my birthday 2 days ago. I turned 47 years old, and I share that with you because, some people say, don't share your age. I say, why not? I mean, why make it a bigger thing than it is? I remember being a kid and growing up in the 80s and 90s, and people would have, if somebody turned 40, they would have their over-the-hill party. Do you remember these? And they would, put signs out in the yard and gravestones and made this big deal, 40 meant death. And, I grew up thinking that, and then I hit 40 7 years ago, and I was like, I don't feel like I'm on the way out just yet. I mean, maybe technically, yes, mathematically, but I feel fine. So why not celebrate feeling fine? And, the other thing people say is you're only as old as you feel. And I get the sentiment behind that, but also, and what does that mean? I feel 27? No, I don't. I feel older than I did, and but that's not a bad thing because I'm also much, much wiser than I was at 27. I wouldn't go back if you gave me a time machine. Perfectly happy where I am right now. But I feel healthy and I feel good. So why not just make your late 40s be a normal, happy, healthy time of life and not make too big of a deal about it? So, yeah. But you know what? I will make a little bit of a deal about it. I want to ask you for a gift. Nothing much, don't worry. Won't take any of your, it'll take a little time maybe, but I'm currently at 1603 subscribers. And it occurred to me that if I could get 47 more, I'd be at 1650. So my request of you for my birthday is if you are enjoying this show and this podcast, please tell your friends. Share it with anybody that you think would enjoy it. I want to see if maybe in the next week or two I can get to that 1650 number. 47 new subscribers for my 47th birthday. How about that? I don't think it's too much to ask, do you? Anyway, all right, let's see here. What else do we have? Well, like I said, it's Westknits MKAL season, and there are lots of knit-alongs and crochet-alongs happening right now in the fall. Everybody's gearing up for the winter and the gifts for the holidays, and plus Rhinebeck sweaters and things like that. So all kinds of things to join in with. And so I've chosen to do the Westknits MKAL again. It was really fun last year, and although, as I pointed out, I didn't finish my last year's shawl until this year. And I was trying to think why that was, because I was really enjoying it, but I got all the way to the fourth clue, and then I had to put it down. And I think it may have been after the restart last year, I was behind, and I made maybe one or two episodes about it. But I got so far behind, and then I had to put it down to work on my holiday knitting, and because I knew I wasn't going to get things done if I didn't. And anyway, so it sat and it sat and it sat, and then recently, when I decided to participate this year, I purchased a kit again from Stephen and Penelope, and I'll show you the kit here in just a minute. But anyway, I got the kit and it arrived, and I thought, well, it's time to finish the other one. What's the point in starting a new one if I haven't finished the other one? So I did. And am I ready to show that to you? Let's see here. Why the heck not? So like I said, I did not finish. It's not finished completely. You'll see a lot of little, loose bits here. But I do think it's pretty spectacular as it is. So as you may recall, I went with a green color palette, various shades of green. One is so dark it looks black when it's against the other colors, but when you see it by itself, it looks like a dark green. So it's really kind of interesting the way that the colors blend. But anyhow, here it is, big reveal. Let me scoot back here. Ta-da! Look at that. Actually, here we go. And you can still see me kind of too. So, isn't that gorgeous? So it's hypnotic, really. I mean, I'm just going to hold it in front of you here and let you see the way the colors shift and the shapes and the textures. It's really, really a beautiful piece of art, if I do say so myself. Anyway, I love the fact, so in the center, I love the depth that you get from the concentric squares there, and the way when you're staring at it, I think you can kind of get that on the video, but more so in real life. So it looks as though, sorry, let me try to get this in here. It looks as though it's going, you're dropping down a well. I've been told by others that it gives them a bit of vertigo to look at it, and I actually do suffer from vertigo from time to time. About once every, well, it used to happen every month, but more recent years it's happened once a year. But I will get vertigo and it'll last for about 3 days. However, this does not trigger that. Has to do with sounds and smells, actually, if you want to know. And if you have any questions about that, I'm happy to answer, but I'm not going to go into all the details now. Anyhow, but yeah, colors do not do that, although I can get what they're saying. It does create a little bit of a sense of movement, a lot of movement, actually. And then, so that was clue one, the center. And then it worked out from here. And in these rows, if it looks like more than 4 colors, that's because these are the rows where I chose to take the mohair dare, and I mixed a strand of green mohair, which was from Life in the Tall Grass, and I did it, well, if you can see here, where the holes begin. The colors alternate every row. It's the same color sequence as in the middle, except it alternates between a row of lacy holes and a row of garter stitch, I think. Yeah. Anyway, every 3rd row I used the mohair. So that meant that this section, it looks like more than 4 colors. It's hard to tell. And it meant that each color ended up having its own moment with the mohair. So each color has one row where it is slightly different than its siblings. So that was clue 2. Clue 3 was this really cool section with the, let me scoot up here, with the slip stitches that are basically creating a wave-like effect. And I mean, again, the movement in this, it's aquatic, right? I mean, the middle's like a well. These are like waves. I love it. And I also love how the lightest color and the darkest are such a stark contrast. And then the middle two, they're very much different, but they're not as different. And so it just looks like a fade until, from the light to the dark. And yeah, anyway, it's a stunning contrast. So that was clue 3. And then clue 4, the one that I just started last week and finished yesterday, is this one here, and it's the border. Let me see here. And I'm just going to hold up a section of it here so you can see these are the dip stitches. And I'm sure if you are following this podcast for any length of time, then you are probably somebody who follows other podcasts and other social media for knitters, and you have seen other people's versions of this shawl, so you know about these dip stitches a bit. And of course, you may have also done them in another project yourself. But they're very cool. And well, if I get too close, I think you maybe lose the effect a little bit. But they create these funky little bubbly squares. And I made a choice here. The pattern as written says to start with color A, which for me is the light color, and then go to color B, slightly darker, C, darker than that, and then D, the darkest one yet. And then there should have been a little more D, and then back to A for one final round, and then doing the I chord in B. That's how it's written. However, for me, let me hold it up this way so you can see it again. I liked the, here, hold on. I liked the dark border on the bottom, and I haven't blocked this yet, so it's kind of, hopefully it'll be a little, it's kind of curling a little bit at the bottom. I hope it will do that less after it's blocked. But anyway, there you can kind of see it, even though it's curling in a bit and covering one of the colors. But I do like the dark border at the bottom. I feel like it just contains everything, you know. I went back and forth, and initially I was going to do the neon yellow color as the border. But now I'm glad I didn't, because I'm looking at it right now, and I can see that wouldn't have worked quite the same way. But I did think to myself, it would create, if I had done that, it would create an interesting line here. Now, if you look at my elbows, you can see that's where the border is. And yeah, so it would have created a dramatic flash of yellow, green. But anyway, wearing it is kind of fun, actually. Look at these stripes and the way everything lines up on the body. Oh gosh, I'm sweaty. Sorry about that. But anyway, yeah, check that out. And again, excuse my unwoven ends there. I apologize. But anyway, there you go. Isn't it lovely? Whoops. One more, just because. So this is the Geogradient Shawl. This is the MKAL shawl from 2023. I almost said 4. No, we're in 4 still. So it is now done. I will have those ends woven in, and I'm now... The other thing I needed to do, actually, is I needed to free the needles because they're the same size for the new one. And, you know, as you can see, that's quite long. I had to do the I-cord bind off over 500 plus stitches. It took a while. And anyway, it's a long circular needle, and I needed it for the next one. So that's ready to go. So let's see here. Oh my gosh. I did forget something very important to do at the beginning. So we'll do it in the middle. Surprise! I haven't done the drawing for the earrings. Remember those? So if you watched the episode about England and Ireland and that trip, I shared with you these sets of skein earrings that were made by my friend Rika, who lives in Bath. You can find her online at Rika Knits. There's her card. And I said that I would send these to a person who entered the chat with a comment about their favorite British shows, movies, actors, writers, what have you. And many, many, many of you did, so I'm really glad. The previous giveaway that I did was with the book club, and there were only 4 people who participated. So I was like, well, all 4 of you will get something. This time around, there were closer to like 25. So anyway, I'm going to do the drawing for that now. So how's that work? Well, here's the hat that I got in Ireland. I'm not gonna, well, there I can kind of show you the top, but I've got your names in here. So I'm gonna shake it up, so you can see that I'm not looking. Shake, 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 shake. And I'm going to pick one at random. Okay, so the lucky winner of these earrings is okay. So I can't read my own writing, but I think the name is Edelcallinen. Edel Callinan. If I'm sure I'm mispronouncing that, but if your name is close to that, at least your YouTube name, then you are the winner. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to the previous episode for the English, for the Ireland and England trip, and I'm going to find your name there where you left your comment, and I'm going to respond to that. And I'm going to give you a link to follow, and I will also put it here as well in the notes. So Edel Callinan, I'm so sorry. I'm butchering that. But anyway, you are the winner, and you need to click that link, and it will prompt you to survey a Google form to give me your address. And after I send it to you, and after I no longer need your address, I will delete the file. Okay? So that is how that will work. So don't respond to anybody who doesn't have my YouTube name. I will be responding to your prompt, your comment on the other one as soon as I post this. So yay! Congratulations. I love being able to make someone a winner. That's fun. Okay, so back to the works in progress before the MKAL. The next thing, I talked about this in the episode from Florida, and I restarted the Adam Frej shorts from Handmade Knits. And I'm going to show you my progress. I completely started over from scratch because, you know what, to be honest, I completely forgot how to knit brioche. This was the only project that I'd ever done it before, or had ever worked on before that was brioche. And so it's a good first project because it's mostly just in the round. But there are some elements of design and increases, and so it's not boring, that's for sure. It is, however, a little tangled right now. So let me work this out so I can show it to you. Anyway, it's here are the shorts. Let me show you. Ta-da! And as you can see, they're kind of underwear. And they're called Adam and Frej because that little crotch pad there, that is meant to be a fig leaf, a la Adam and Eve. The Freya part, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, is hearkening back to Nordic and Germanic mythology. And so she has in that pattern an alternate crotch that you could do. This one seemed a bit simpler, and so I went with it. The other has it looks flowery, a little more flowery. Anyway, yeah, so these are the shorts, and they're not done, as you can tell. I also had to free up that other pair of needles in order to do this because I'm at the point where I'm going to be doing the short rows on the back, so you can see the shaping that's gone in. And yes, there are some sloppy looking little accidents there. I will say so I'm new to brioche, as I have said, and that means I'm new to fixing brioche as well. And so when I've seen mistakes, some of them I've been able to fix if I caught them right away, but others if I had to drop, down a few rows, like here, you can see, yeah, right there. There I clearly did the wrong thing. And on the front too, you can see it here. There's a whole line of it. Well, I'm going to live with that because, given the size and the nature of these shorts, they're something that I will wear privately, lounging around the house, not something I'm going to, walk around town in, so nobody's going to see it. And they're for my comfort and my enjoyment, and I don't mind if those are there because it's been a learning process, right? And I did, well, if you watched one of the previous episodes where I first started talking about this, I did actually restart because there were mistakes that after a while I realized I just couldn't live with. And namely, the center, the leaf, was off center. I had it, you know, here it is, the center here, and it was starting like over there. Anyway, I had it off by one. And it's just like, oh, that's eventually going to throw everything else off, isn't it? And that will annoy me. That was an unforgivable mistake. But now, these others are fine. I'll live with it, and I will do better on my brioche projects in the future. And I do have some in the pipeline. So this is yeah, it's my first piece. And like I say, I'm on the short rows, and I'm a little bit, I don't know, I'm concerned isn't the right word. I have a little bit of trepidation about it because, I mean, I get the concept of short rows. I've done them on many pieces before, but doing with brioche and the 2 layers, you know, 2 times across one way, 2 times across the other way. And I guess, well, here's the thing too, that where I am, when you see the marker, that's the starting point. So the first thing is I've got to go here one way, and then here the other way, and then come back, and then come back, and then I don't know. I've got to read the instructions several more times because the way it just it kind of confuses me a little bit, I have to admit. But I'll get it. I'm sure that I will get it. So that's that. And I'm close to done, so hopefully I will be, maybe another week. Maybe less, actually. I mean, once I get the short rows, I don't think it's going to take me very long. And then it's a matter of putting on a band here. And the pattern calls for using elastic. And I have, like, you know, some elastic that I could cut and sew and make it the proper waistband size. But then it occurred to me, I have, I hope this isn't TMI, but I have, you know, underwear that has holes and gets old and whatever, but the elastic's still good. So I thought, well, let me just cut off the bad part and keep the elastic. And then I will use that because I already know that it fits. And so it's that'll be my elastic band for it. Upcycled Hanes underwear elastic will be hidden beneath the fold there. So that'll be fun. I can't wait. Okay, now let's just double check things here. WIP's Geogradient, Adam and Frej. Okay, so I want to talk about the MKAL and the kit, which I realize I brought all of my stuff over here to show you, but I didn't bring this. So give me one moment. I'll be right back. And I'm back. And here is my MKAL box. Oops. And honestly, it didn't open very smoothly, so the box is kind of falling apart. And now I will show it to you and say a little bit more about it. So this year's kit, sadly, did not include a bag. Because I love my MKAL bag from last year. I still use it. And anyway, but it does have some other goodies. And I'll show you the goodies first. So we get this shawl pin, which, hold on here. You can see that. There we go. You can see the shape and style of this. And Stephen West has said that this would be kind of a clue to the shaping of it. So I'm anticipating a semicircular shawl, circles, semicircles, rainbows, I don't know. But yeah, that's the shawl pin. We have a needle gauge, similar to last year's, different color though. We have the Go-Go Dynamo intro. Some stickers that say, you know, Go-Go Dynamo and Knitter and Crafty Queen. So those will make their way probably onto my thing here, my journal that already has a blue fiber company sticker there. Actually, I'm going to put those there right now. Chuck them away anyway. Now to the good stuff, the part you've been waiting for. So this year I decided to get a kit. I purchased it from Stephen and Penelope, but it's yarn that was dyed by Ross at Twisted Ambitions Yarn. And yeah, I followed Ross for a long time now. Probably as long as I've had my Instagram account, which I think is going back to late 2019, early 2020. So around then. And so I've seen his stuff for years, and I was thinking about this, isn't it kind of amazing and also frustrating that there are so many wonderful dyers out there that you can follow and get to know through their social media. And, you can follow them for years, and it can take that long before you ever get a chance to use their yarns or purchase from them, because there's so many, and they're great. They're all great. So many good ones. But I'm really happy to finally have the opportunity to play with his yarns. I'm going to show you, it's 4 skeins, 2 colors, and I'll just show you these two. Get it with the label there. There we go. Yeah, so you see Ross there, his exuberant smiling face holding yarn that actually looks pretty similar to this one, doesn't it? Pretty similar, actually. The colors are Goodbye Blue Sky and I Will Follow You Into the Dark, which, if I'm not mistaken, is a song by Postal Service. Am I right? Am I wrong? I'm not sure. Anyway, these are fingering weight yarns. This one, the base is Sweet Sock, which is 75% superwash merino and 25% nylon. So it's squishy and stretchy. And he's based in Oklahoma. And yeah, I'm really, really excited to actually, probably in the next couple of days, I'm going to wind them up and then start my swatching so I can see how the colors play out together. But I was drawn to this one because, I mean, just these colors, are they not gorgeous? It's like a Monet painting, isn't it? And I'll show you the other one. Well, I'll show you all of them just so you can see. The blues are blue, and well, actually they look a little different here on the video screen, but they don't in real life. They're the same. And but these same colors, but they pool in different ways. This one here has that rich, what's the word I'm looking for? Aquamarine? I think so, yeah. And this one seems to have some darker, rustier elements to it. I mean, they both have these to some degree, and maybe as I go through it, I will find that they're more similar in their percentage of colors. But yeah, I love it. So I really can't wait to get started with this and to find out what tricks Stephen West has up his sleeve this year and what we will learn. Because as I'm sure you know from if you've done this yourself or any Westknits piece, there's always something fun and not necessarily new, like the world has never seen it before, but things that the world hasn't seen in a while. And he kind of encourages everybody to play and trust yourself and trust the process. And when you do, beautiful things happen. So I'm excited about that. If you are doing the MKAL, let me know. Very curious to see who else among you is taking part. And let me know, too, if you got a kit of your own or if you are dipping into your stash for your yarns. Curious to see what you've chosen there. And I also wanted to say, too, I purchased mine from Stephen and Penelope directly, but I went to Twisted Ambitions Yarn website today, and I saw that the kits, this very kit and others, are available through Ross's website. So you can still get them if you don't see them listed on Stephen and Penelope, or you just want to order it domestically. You can do that through his website directly. So I'll put a link to that, and you can check that out as well. And this one, oh shoot, what is it called? The name of the kit is Into the Blue Sky. Into the Blue Sky. Okay. Now, let's see. Couple of recommendations for podcasts. If, well, you may know this already, I'm sure. If you are somebody who's done the MKAL, then you are the Westknits MKAL, then you already know that Martin at Knit365 blog and Arena at Fiberchats have teamed up to do a third year of the Humans of Westknits, and they've already got a great video up that I watched the other day interviewing Dyers, who are part of the collections that Stephen and Penelope have chosen for this year, and some who are on their own. I don't know if they're sold through Stephen and Penelope or not. But anyway, I watched it because Ross was one of the people who was interviewed, and I wanted to hear what he had to say about his experience so far. And I watched a few others. I've got a few more to watch still in that single episode. So it's very good, very informative, and it's interesting to see about just the choices that people make, and frankly the excitement for somebody who is a dyer to be chosen to be one of the featured kit makers for Stephen and Penelope. And they don't know what the shawl is going to be either. They're just given instructions about the kinds of color palettes that they're looking for, whether it's like this year it's 2 colors, but last year it was 4, so things like that. But otherwise they don't know what the project's going to turn into, so they're in the dark too. So that's one recommendation. I also wanted to give a shout out and a recommendation to Sunbirdcrochet, because, well, in part, she gave me a nice shout out in a recent episode of hers, and so I was watching that. And Claudia, is based in Germany, and her podcast is in English, and she focuses mostly on crochet, but some knitting as well. She says in her own words that crochet is more her strength, her wheelhouse, but she does like to knit. She's just more comfortable with crochet. And anyway, she has some beautiful pieces that she showcases, and also talks about podcasts and all sorts of things related to the Knitterverse. And it was nice to be watching that and to see my own humble little channel mentioned. So thank you, Claudia. Vielen Dank für die nette Worten. I'm very appreciative of what you had to say. And something that it made me think about, she had posted some recommendations for podcasts that were in German. And a year or two ago, I was watching podcasts in foreign languages. I figured that was a good way for me to practice. And then I kind of fell out of it. And I haven't gone back recently until I saw her podcast and went and watched, I think it was Punk Rock Unicorn, and then from there started to look at some of the other people who were commenting, and I found other people who had their own podcasts. So I found several interesting ones auf Deutsch, but I'm curious to know if any of you out there watch knitting podcasts or crochet podcasts, yarn podcasts, in a different language. And if you could, please, in the notes, in the comments, recommend them. I'm particularly interested in any that are in German, Spanish, or French, because those are the ones that I can speak well enough to follow along if I'm watching. Italian is getting there, but it has a long way to go. But yeah, so Spanish, German, and French in particular. But if there are others in other languages, please recommend them too, because maybe somebody else who's looking through the comments will be looking for something in the language that you are recommending. But yeah, it's a fun way to practice, to have something to listen to where you kind of, know what they're talking about because you can see it, and it's related to something knitting. And I've just found that makes it a pleasurable experience. However, it is a difficult thing to do while I'm knitting because I can just listen, but to really understand, I have to watch. I actually see people's mouths moving in order to make the words, I don't know, coalesce in my brain, if that makes sense. I suppose I'm a visual learner as well as an auditory one. But anyway, that is my request of you. So yeah, thank you. That, I think, is all for today. And but I will be doing. I hope to be doing a few more shorter episodes throughout the MCAL. I would like to try. My goal is to try to do one per week with each clue, and also, of course, we didn't even say, or I did at the beginning. Rhinebeck is coming up. I'll say more about that in a future episode, I think, too. I will be going, and I'll be there for both days. I won't be going to any other of the festivals. I'm just going up on Saturday, staying the night, and attending Sunday's festival as well, and then coming home. So I'll be at New York Sheep and Wool, both days. And if you are planning to be there, leave that in the comment, too, because I definitely want to be on the lookout for people who are fans of the podcast. So, yeah, and I will also, closer to the date, give you a time when I will schedule myself to be at the Podcaster Hill. You know, it's funny, last year I chose a time kind of at random. I think it was like 11 o'clock on Saturday. And I picked the exact same time that Andrea Mowry chose. And, you know, that meant that everybody was in the very long line for her. And now, of course, I did see some of you there, but I realized maybe I should pick a time when one of the most famous designers in the universe isn't doing her meet and greet as well. So maybe I have a chance to meet some other people. Womp, womp, womp. Good for her. By the way, if you don't watch her podcast, you should. It's great. It's called I'll Knit If I Want To, and she kind of does it as a Q&A session most of the time, and will kind of tackle any question, and she's charming and her designs are beautiful. So I'm not throwing any shade her way when I say that I don't want to be there at the same time. I'm throwing shade at myself, frankly. A little self-deprecating, but I get it. She's very amazing. So anyway, that is it for today's episode. More to come soon. Be well, everybody. Happy knitting, and till next time.